Okay, so we're going to do a dynamic range test. I've got both these cameras, the Sony A7 III and the Fuji X-T3 with the Tamron 28 to 75 f2.8 and the Fuji I'm new to Fuji, so excuse me, the 24, no, what is this? This is the 50. This is the 16 to 55, which is the equivalent of a 24 to 82, I guess, f2.8. So what we're going to do is we're going to, I'm going to point you in the right direction here. We're going to basically take a shot of that box over there, and we're just going to see how much shadow detail I can bring up with both cameras. Of course, we know the Sony will win, but is it going to be a huge amount of difference? So I'm going to expose this in a couple different ways, and then what I'm going to also do is I'm going to set it up all manual. I put everything the same settings and everything, and then take it into post and see how much I can bring up. Now this is for photography, so let's get started. Okay, so what we got here, it took me a while to set this up because I'm not familiar with the Fuji, but we've got, and I don't know if this matters, but I'm looking at the back of the screens and I've got zebra on, and what I'm looking for is that background. So this box that you're going to see here is as if that was my subject, or my model or whatever, and it is my subject, but I've exposed for the background. So if I just, it's kind of hard to judge both of these, but if I just do it where there's just a little bit of zebras on some of those clouds out there, I'm sure that's going to be just good. So we're going to take a photo of both of these. Okay, so now we're going to kind of go the opposite way. I'm going to try to expose for that box, not completely, but we are going to be blowing out the back, but I'm trying to make a medium exposure here. We could barely see some clouds. It's definitely the sky's blown out. So we're going to take a shot here. We're at 800 of a second, f2.8 at 160 ISO. And on the Sony, we're at 750th of a second, f2.8 and 100. So let's just try that. Let's play those back and just see. They look pretty close. Okay, so we're going to take these into Lightroom and see what it looks like. Okay, so I went and did all the tests, and I already recorded this, forgot to put the microphone on, but now it's on. So first of all, I'm going to show you the beginning photo of each camera. So first of all, I'm going to show you the Sony underexposed. So there's the Sony underexposed, and this next one is me kind of trying to balance it out as much as I can without blowing out the background, and that would look like this. So you could see a little bit difference in brightness, whereas there you go, a little brighter, a little darker. So that's what that looks like. Now if we go to the Fuji, where's those at? We're going to go with the underexposure here. So that's what it looks like underexposed, and then so they're pretty similar in exposure straight out of the camera. Now we're going to see how much we could push these and what happens. So let's do that. So over here on the right is the Sony, on the left is the Fuji, and if you look at them just like this, we're not looking at color, we're looking at dynamic range. I would say they look pretty close to the same. If I just have to say, I think the Fujifilm looks better. It might just be because of the color, or I did these really quick or whatever. I don't know. But anyways, they look pretty darn similar. If you were to look at these photos just as they were composed like that, the Fuji held up absolutely great with the Sony. But if we go in, let's go to, where's my little thing? If we go to 100%, and we got to go to full. Let's give that a second. Okay, here's 100%. And this is the Fuji. So this is 100%. If we were to print this out, of course, this is an extreme situation. You don't necessarily want to, do this. But if you had to or wanted to, this is the Fuji. And if we slide over here, this is the Sony. It's hard to see these because they're not side by side. And this is 100%. Again, which one looks better? if we look at the box. Now, if we're going to go into 200%, which is getting stupid pixel peeping, but that's what that looks like on the Fuji, and this is what the Sony looks like. Oh my gosh, it's hard to go over. There's the Sony. If I were to do this better, let's go like this. And now if we come in, we can see these a little closer. This is at 100%. So at 100%, which one looks better to you? It's really hard to tell still. If we brought this over even closer, hold on. Why is that not doing that? You could tell it's a little different here. Now, this is getting this is like stupid close. This is 400%. And at 400%, you can see the noise difference. This is a line in the cardboard, as we could see. It's not that big of a difference, to be honest with you. This one zoomed in a little more, so naturally we might be getting a little better. But again, I mean, seriously, you know, that's 100%. Which one looks better to you? You can't tell on this, but for me, I mean, seriously, it doesn't matter to me. This is the Fuji, this is the Sony. If we look at the bars here, I would say the Fuji has a little more noise, but this is an extreme situation, and it's something that looks darn good to me. I mean, look at the shadow area. Here's cleaner than this shadow area. Well, if we were to pull this back, we could see the exact same area. Shadows are a little different for whatever reasons, but it looks good, guys. I mean, look at this. This is the bar here. Let's get the same side of the bar. Here's the bar. Looks the same. Yeah, so guys, it's really, I don't think it matters. I think the Fuji did amazing, and I like the files and the colors straight coming out of here. Now remember, this is in RAW. This isn't just like, oh, you know, it has the best JPEG. Let's go over here. So remember, this is RAW. This isn't even like the JPEG color profiles or whatever that you can put on either one of these. This is the RAW photo, and I like the Fuji. It looks better to me. I do notice a little more noise. This is an extreme situation. For me, it doesn't matter. So let's quickly close those, and let's look at, this is the one where I kind of exposed for, you know, kind of both brights and highlights without going over. This one is the Fuji, this one is the Sony, and as you can see, for me, the Fuji still looks better, just the colors, but that could be my processing quickly or whatever. Bottom line is, I don't think either one of these, I mean, let's get, if we look over here, let's go up to a stupid 200%, which you would never do, and let's look right inside here. And now let's go over to the Sony file, work my way over, and here it is over here. Of course, the corner sharpness we're seeing is not as sharp as over here, but it just, for me, I just don't think it matters. It's too close of a call. And you could see the detailed difference. It looks, this is, of course, this is cleaner over here. The Sony, you can't, we can't dismiss that it's cleaner, but really, I mean, this is raw, no noise reduction, and I think, in my opinion, the Sony is cleaner. The detail looks close to the same, but I guess we'd have to give it to the Sony if we look at the breakfast and the breakfast here. So the Sony wins on the detail. Again, extreme. So yeah, I don't know. Let's do the JPEGs now. So I'm going to delete all these. Over here, the Sony looks a little more rich. Again, that could be my processing. I could have, you know, crushed the blacks a little more over here. But let's look at the noise difference. I found that this is pretty noisy. Let's look at this. This is the Fuji, pretty noisy here. If we go over to the Sony JPEG, it looks even worse. There's a lot of purple noise in there, and this looks really bad on the Sony. We can see a lot of macro blocking here. If we come over here, there's macro blocking, but it looks a lot finer. Let's just do this so we can get these side by side. Make sure the Sony is. And let's bring this over so we can just see them. side by side more. And here we go. So it's hard to tell. Yeah, there's a little more green on this one than the Sony, but then when we look under here, you know, it's a little bit of a green band here, but if we come over to the Sony, it's like real purple. So that's really, really purple. It has purple and the green band. So in that area, this looks a lot better to me. And inside this white area, this is just, there's no color noise inside here. On the Sony, there is a slight purpling, maybe a blue, and other little speckles of color in here. And as far as the wall, we can't really see the wall there. I like the Fuji one is looking better in my eyes, to my eyes. Let's look at the box now. And if we were to look at this at 100%, it's kind of hard to tell because this has a little more deeper darks or whatever. If we just look at it though at 100%, whatever, if we go into a stupid 200%, I would say there's more detail over here. It's a little bigger, so we must have been zoomed in a little more. The Tamron might be. And so more detail over here. The grain over here is much more finer, where this is very macro blocky. But I don't know. So you guys can make up your own mind. In my opinion, with just these tests, I would use either camera. Again, this is just ridiculously try to bring as much as you can. If you're going to do this professionally, you would use a flash. Even if you're going to do this as a hobby and want to get a portrait and do good, invest in a flash and do this. If you don't have a flash and you had both cameras in the bag, well, you'd probably pull out the Sony because you can see it can get just a little bit more out of it. But I would be absolutely happy with the Fuji. And again, I'm not trying to poo-poo on the Sony because I got a new camera. It is what it is. It's looks good to me. So if you have any questions, leave some comments, give me some thumbs up, and stay tuned to the next video.